We often come across animals that use camouflage to protect themselves, but this trend often hides the paranormal creatures who live among us and evade detection. This explorer dup entered an Arabian cave for an overnight camp and were not prepared for what was waiting to welcome them. After setting up their flashlight, they were about to unpack their stuff when one of them suspected that a rock near him had just changed its place. Ignoring it as a figment of his imagination, he continued arranging his stuff and spraying a little water on the floor so the dust settled. To his horror, the rock suddenly moved again as soon as the water droplets landed on it. His buddy wasted no time and began recording this chilling occurrence. Every time they sprayed the rock with water, it moved a bit more, without changing its shape even a little. How could a rock respond to water in such a peculiar way?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله بسم الله.
They remained dumbfounded as the rock made its journey in front of them without showing any signs of life, and they began questioning their decision to even come here. As they were still coming to terms with this ordeal, they suddenly heard a large scream from the dark depths of the cave. The video suddenly ends and we don't know if they were able to survive the night or if their footage was found on the cave floor, especially as things were getting worse by the minute. In your opinion, is it a good idea to enter unknown caves, that too for such prolonged periods? Lauren and her friend were on a safari in the Negev desert in southern Israel when, during their night halt, something uncanny greeted them. As they were busy checking out their pictures from that day, Lauren noticed the door, which was unlatched, open ever so slightly before shutting on its own. This ordeal kept repeating multiple times, and on checking the window, she realized that it was closed.
Curtain moving on. Look, oh, it's just gonna shut and slam by itself. She thinks it's funny. I don't think it's really funny. Notice again the curtains, the window, they're not moving, which means there's no wind, which means that there's a supernatural occurrence in this house, in Mitzperamon, in the desert in Israel, and it's some sort of ghost, and it obviously wants vengeance, and we're gonna die.
So this couldn't have been caused by the wind. Her friend seemed quite amused by this scary occurrence, but Lauren was freaking out. It seemed as if something invisible was recurrently opening the door, either to check on them or to find a way to slip in unnoticed. The ordeal went on for a few minutes, with the mystery still unsolved, and the video ends here without us knowing if these innocent tourists had come face to face with something chilly, or this was just a coincidence. A paranormal investigator chose to enter the desert to explore stories of ghosts that were rumored to wander the barren land. Armed with a torch and his phone, he started wandering amidst the bushes to reach the famed abandoned shack, whose occupant had died alone in the desert with no one to care for him. After a couple of hours of searching, he did come across what he thought were remains of a dilapidated structure. Weirdly though, a scarecrow-like figure had been built at its entrance, probably by some miscreants to scare people off. He wasn't deterred, and while keeping his distance, he kept observing the place from afar, zooming in with his phone to get a better look. Quite unexpectedly, he saw a figure in the dark, right next to the shack, and when he carefully zoomed in, he froze. A skeleton-thin figure was staring right back at him. Spooked, he quickly got up and started backing up, trying to get as far away as possible. This spirit was unlike he had ever come across, and it sure looked bloodthirsty. To his dismay, the figure was now chasing him in the dark. Though he kept running for some distance, the ghost didn't seem like giving up, so the explorer gathered courage, turned back, and pointed his revolver at him. He did end up shooting a few rounds in his direction, and the loud bangs did deter the ghost, which gave him a little leeway to escape while he could. Investigating otherworldly beings sounds fun until you're the one in danger. Do you think he should have entered the desert in the first place? That too in the dark. A man was driving down a remote road in the desert when his vehicle suddenly broke down. With no cell service on his phone and not a soul in sight, he thought it would be best to walk to a nearby quarry to check if someone was there. Indeed, he found someone, though not what he expected. A man with wild eyes and a menacing smile began following him as soon as he began avoiding the stranger. Seeing the spooky man approaching, he picked up his pace, but the man kept on his heels and was getting closer. Luckily, he found an abandoned shack in the dark and locked himself inside, hoping the man wouldn't check it. His deepest fear, though, became true, as the scary stranger began banging on the door in an attempt to break it. With an angry voice, he was shouting at the innocent guy, but eventually he gave up when he couldn't break the locks and left, leaving him shaken and scared. This guy later escaped the shack and, after walking all night in the dark, found his way back to civilization. He did later approach the cops with this ordeal, who could only advise him not to venture into remote areas after sunset. An explorer was backpacking alone in the Arizona desert when he weirdly came across a group of people gathered in an abandoned quarry. His curiosity got the best of him and he chose to approach them, which surely turned out to be one of his worst mistakes. As he reached near them, he observed that they were all wearing black robes and chanting in an unknown language. This is when he was sure that these weren't normal people, rather they were a secret cult who seemed dubious. Spooked, he thought that this would be the best time to quietly escape before they noticed, but he was unable to do so slyly as they now began chasing him with machetes. He ran without even glancing back, tripping and stumbling over rocks and ditches in the pitch dark. Somehow, he was able to outrun them and reach the safety of his campsite, where he breathed a sigh of relief. This relief was short-lived, as the cultists found their way to his tent too. And this is when he chose to retaliate by spraying them with pepper spray and blinding them with his flashlight before taking off into the desert again. Fortunately, he reached the parking lot in time, got into his truck, and escaped before they followed him here too, leaving all his camping gear behind. As he drove back, visuals of the quarry returned to his mind, and he realized that they were actually sacrificed someone there. Even the thought of this sent chills down his spine, and he chose to never return to this desert again. If you come across such a gathering on one of your hikes, would you investigate the same? We'd love to know. The city of Al-Madam, built in 1971 as a luxury enclave, was abandoned back in 1971. Today, it is more popular as the ghost village of UAE. The desert has made its way into the homes here, and what was once a neighborhood now stands barren and desolate. Snake tracks and unknown footprints cover the sand, pointing to a possible unknown presence in the area. This group of YouTubers decided to explore the village at night, hoping to catch on tape the famed ghost that haunted this abandoned place. Their exploration was fraught with scary incidents. It began when they set up paranormal equipment, which, right from the word go, went off like crazy. Just as this spooked them, they saw their friends return from a walk around of the place, and they seemed to have recorded a possible shadowy ghost lurking inside one of the homes.
Yo, what do you think is that?
Have you gone to the mosque yet? We heard cat noises first, and then after like a minute. Even my friend, he doesn't believe in stuff, but he got scared.
Ito yung video na kuhanan nila nung pumasok sila sa mosque. Hindi mawari kung tao ba, ibon o pusa ang tunog, at isa lang ang sigurado.
They seemed to run inside as they saw it and disappear into the darkness. While walking around, they noticed the village mosque and thought they'll find the answers there. They entered with their recording equipment and were greeted by the sound of a few birds. As they entered, things seemed calm for a few seconds before the birds ominously flew away and scared them.
Oh! Wait. The bird flew away. The bird is gone.
As time went by, many things started to go wrong. First, there were multiple instances of different guys spotting a white figure walking around in Arabic dress. Whenever they would try to catch up, it would disappear.
The thing that is creepy is what you saw. You saw a white figure, right?
Yeah, I see one.
That's what
Some like Arabic.
Yeah.
You know.
Then there was flickering of lights from a tent that had no electricity connection and was completely empty. It went awry when one of them seemed to be possessed, as he began acting weird.
You alright, bro? You good?
All this spooked the group and they decided it's best they leave while they're still safe. UAE's Ghost Village did live up to its name after all. Do you like visiting such haunted spots? Let us know below.